What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Welcome to tonight's show. Dame, you want to say what up?
¿Cómo se llamas? Mi nombre es Demon. Beat that, Clint. Told you I knew some more Spanish.
Oh, good Lord. About to have everybody jumping off the thing like, I didn't know this was a Spanish show.
Muy bueno, mi amigo.
¿Y tú?
Bueno. Hola.
I didn't get the memo, so I didn't come with my Spanish today.
Listen, my best friend in Puerto Rico, that's about as much Spanish you're going to get out of me.
All right, well, tonight we got a great show lined up for you guys, and it is in English, so no worries there. We're going to be talking about a great topic, and in the meantime, make sure you get over to our website over at gftradioshow.com or over on our socials for all the links and all of the previous shows that we've done, because you can watch those free or listen to those free on demand through our audio platforms or watch them in the replays on our video platforms as well. And make sure you get our merchandise. I think I'll see some merchandise in the stream right now, so make sure you get that merchandise.
Damien, you got something on?
radio.creator-spring.com, where you'll find t-shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeve tees, hoodies, all kinds of apparel and accessories over there for the taking, with our logos, our sayings, all that good stuff. So make sure you check that out. But in the meantime, like I said, we got a great show lined up, and it's a topic that just kind of popped up last week. It went viral. A bunch of discussions were had about this particular topic, and what we came up with was the fact that a lot of people came to the conclusion that we may just be over-sexualizing parental love. And that's the question. Are we really doing that, or is there some concern with what's going on with certain situations? And, you know, we have a few different examples we're going to discuss, as well as just kind of discuss, you know, the overall topic of what's going on there. And Hank just showed up. What up, though, Hank?
You're
just getting started, bro. We're just getting started. So, so this all stemmed from a picture that's basically depicted a father and daughter. Actually, I'm going to bring it up. Kissing on the lips, and you know, there's already some varying degrees of approval and disapproval of kissing older children on the lips, but also there was the method and way in which they were kissing that drew a lot of ire, had a lot of people, you know, questioning the appropriateness of the action, but then it also had a lot of people on the other side, you know, basically saying, hey, are we dismissing the fact that this is a parent and child, dismissing the fact that, you know, everybody shows love and affection in a different way? And, you know, who's, you know, is it society's role or responsibility to decide if it's appropriate or not? Sorry, I'm trying to bring it up real quick. But in the meantime, I want to discuss from an overall standpoint. I know we had basically kind of went through this discussion in our group chat over at the Join the Conversation group. So make sure you guys go check that out over at GFT. Join the conversation over on Facebook.com/groups. So what do you think about parents who still kiss their children, or even, you know, some people even don't like it when they're infants, but what do you think about parents who kiss their children on the lips, you know, in their older age? What do you guys think of that?
I'll start off since everybody's being quiet.
I know everybody's scared. Everybody's scared. What's going on? Go ahead, Hank. Start us off.
So it's the hand behind the head that's the problem. The last time you saw somebody with a hand behind the head, it was Deion Sanders taking a pick back at the house. It wasn't your daughter palming the back of your neck for a kiss. That's the part that makes this weird. Me personally, two daughters, never kissed neither one of my daughters in the mouth on purpose. You know, obviously, babies get the little wobbly neck. They might end up kissing you. It happens from time to time. But I ain't never like purposely leaned into my daughters. 'Cause I know I'm doing some inappropriate things with their mother. So I don't want to kiss you. Well, not inappropriate. We married, but I don't want to like I don't understand why people kiss their kids in their mouth. We do too much shit, like especially if you smoke after three, four, five other people. Why would you then come kiss your kids in the mouth? You drinking after three, four, five other people. Why would you come kiss your kids in your mouth? You don't know where everybody's mouth has been. This has always been my thought process as far as these things went. I mean, to each his own. Everybody, handles their situation different. There it is. That's the problem right there. It's that palm situation. She's not dunking. What are we doing right here? There's nothing
Right.
about that looks cool. Like when I
Yeah,
see this, I'm
and I
thinking
think my
when I
biggest
look at
problem with it too
when I
was
see
the
this
fact
picture,
that she
when
was
I
so
saw this
old.
picture, when I saw that you put this picture in the group text, I'm thinking, are we talking pedophile? I'm not thinking this is a father and his daughter. This does not look like me and my daughter are taking a picture and she's going off to school. Like,
Mhm.
I understand some hype points. Right there with that picture, yeah, that do look kind of crazy with her grabbing the back of his head. But I really do think we over judging, over analyzing. What works for one may not work for the other. Uh, I I don't see nothing wrong with a father or a mother kissing their child. Uh, you know, it doesn't always have to be some sexual things behind it. Like I understand Hank's point uh when he said about you don't know where other people's lips been, and if you're doing this and that and the third with your lips, then those are good points. But for the most part, man, like yeah, you got some nasty motherfuckers out here, but for the most part, man, like let people love their kids how they love their kids. Like
I hold up.
I don't
I don't want nobody to have heard what I was saying. My bad. As that it was coming off in a sexual way. The reason that I said that looks pedophilish is if you just get the picture with no context. When Willie puts the picture in before I read before I read like, yo, this is a father and a daughter, I'm thinking this doesn't, you know what I'm saying? This doesn't look father daughter. Once you get here, this is the problem right here.
but but see at this point, you feel me? Especially with people at our age and our level of understanding, we've been at the social media thing since damn near its inception. Like not to just go off a single picture, not to just go off some single clip, uh, because you have all these different thoughts and we can all be totally off. To me, like you said, even when I seen the picture, the shit look crazy nonetheless. You feel me? Like her cuffing the back of his head, but they could have been joking. You never know. She could have did that without him even knowing she was about to do that, because you know how kids are. You feel me? So like that shit could go so many different ways. And if she's comfortable around her father and know her father is not doing nothing inappropriate, then who are we, to cast any aspersions
All right. So
on
for
other
me,
people?
as mom, um, I think even when my kids were a baby, I didn't really kiss them on the mouth. And I'm a mom. I know I birthed you. You were in me. We got the same similar germs, but for me, it was not like it was not a no. It was not. It's very rare like that. It happened, but it was very rare that it happened. Right. Even to my son at the age he is now 9, he goes to me. He knows to give me his cheek or his nose or something like that. I'm not really gonna kiss him in his mouth, but sometimes he does want me. He'll go and if I try to move my face, he's looking at me like, no, I want to kiss you like right here on your lips. And I try to change it to an Eskimo kiss or something like that. But I understand that he doesn't know any better, and it's not me feeling a way about it. It's just that I feel like, similar to what Hype says, I know what I do. I don't need to be kissing you on your mouth. I just don't need to be doing that. or I feel like that's not my thing to do. I didn't do it with my daughter. I didn't do it with my son as well. I kissed them all the time, but not on the mouth. Even with watching my son with his dad early on when he was a baby, he would kiss him, but always kiss him on his cheek, never on the mouth. Even though, babies move, they do what they do, he would make sure that he kissed him on either his forehead or on his cheek. And he was either way, he was just getting there to see him, or after getting ready to leave, that's what he did to say I love you and going about his business. And now at the age he is now, he still kisses him, but I don't recall him ever kissing him on the mouth.
Right.
So for me, and even if he had, I don't think that he does that. So for me, I just feel weird. And to this picture point right here, I don't like people don't kiss my baby in the mouth. I don't care who you are, grandma. Like even with grandmas, my mom. I think my mom did it when they were babies, but as they got older, it was never something that she was going to do. But even I don't think she kissed them on their mouth. I think she kissed because she was real worried about people washing their hands and stuff like that and touching the baby. So
yeah,
I don't like that. I don't want you. I even go a step further. Don't kiss my baby hands because my baby put their hands in their mouth. So
good point.
Like it's not even just the mouth. Don't put because that's what babies do. They put their hand in their mouth. Whatever germs you got, you just put your mouth on their hands, and they put everything on their hands, and they put everything in their mouth. It's similar as kissing their feet. They put their feet in their mouth. So don't do that. And after a certain age, I feel like you don't. If my son gives you a kiss, it'd be on the cheek. Yeah. You're not kissing my son at 9 years old in the mouth. Like we gonna have a problem.
Yeah, what about this 16-year-old in this picture? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about. Was like, we had one picture with a certain context, and we don't even know her age. We just kind of make some assumptions based on her size and that kind of thing, but also the degree of how the kiss is done, right? And so when I saw this, I was like, like Hype was, I was kind of in shock because I was looking like, there was the one thing with the grandmother. Like the grandmother one didn't bother me as much as like the woman with her 16-year-old son. Like that was like, I just felt like it was just too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay.
I've seen people in the third picture with Ian and his 34-year-old daughter. I've seen like I've never kissed my mom in the mouth as an adult, but I've seen like people like sons kiss their mom. I've seen dads kiss their sons,
right?
As an adult, and for me, it's like I personally wouldn't do it, but I understand why people do it, and especially with their sons, because with especially like I think I'm probably more okay with it with dads with their sons because I feel like with dads we have this tough mentality that you can't do certain things, but you need to show your son you love him, and oddly enough, I'm actually depending on how it like. I mean, I can't really say how it looks because I've never seen it look inappropriate. Like it's bye dad, I love you, and the dad is like 60-something, 7 years old, and the son that's my age is like love you and kiss him and going about his business.
On the mouth or on the cheek?
On the cheek. I know.
I've seen grown men.
I've known Italian men to kiss their dads on the mouth.
Yeah. I've seen
like, and I've seen it.
I mean, yeah, I've seen that on TV.
But I think it's a cultural thing too, because a lot of people in cultures they do that.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to bring up with this picture too. Is that we're also, if I'm not mistaken, this was either from the UK or from Australia, but I believe it's UK because it's from Daily Mail. And
okay, so that's a totally different outlook on the world. So okay,
right, and so I think from a cultural standpoint, right, it's like, are we judging it from a cultural standpoint, right? We're looking at a father and daughter here in the U.S., black father and black daughter, versus like Cheryl and her 16-year-old son in UK, which I still find a little kind of cringy, but maybe even Darren and his 8-year-old daughter, right? Like the other girl could be 8, and the father is like, is it the same thing? Is it different because it's culturally, acceptable, or not just acceptable, but more culturally practiced, maybe where they are, things like that. It's like, is that question also comes into play?
Yeah, because I wanted to ask you guys, because you all got daughters.
Mm-hmm.
If that was you.
Yeah,
Couldn't
in that
be.
picture with your daughter.
Wouldn't be me.
no,
Like, this is one of them things. Me and Sonny, the first time Sonny came on How to Hustle, we did judgments, and it's perfectly fine for people to make judgments. We all have. Oh, we got a new head in the building. Name is Sierra. That's my wife's name. It's perfectly fine for us to make judgments of each other. We all come from different situations where you might not understand where I came from because I had a two-parent household. You had a parent, like you had a single parent. You didn't have no parents. You was pretty much the parent of the siblings. So it's perfectly fine for us to judge each other's the way things go, as long as we do it in a respectful manner where we can always come to a mutual understanding that we can agree to disagree. But even if it's a different country, different way of life, different way of thinking, because you know me, I deal with people from everywhere, and it just be like, you kind of gotta just accept that we gonna have to agree to disagree on some things, because it's like if you grew up in a certain place and I grew up in a certain place, we don't even see the world the same way. So
right.
like that shit might be cool over in Australia. That might be what y'all do. But if I see this picture, what I'm telling you is if I see this 34-year-old, like, what do you kiss your mom in the mouth? Like, I love my mom dearly. If she needs both kidneys and both lungs, she can have them. If we're both hanging off a mountain, guess what? I'm dead. But I ain't kissing her.
Hey, Sierra, thanks for joining us. What's your opinion on just the overall idea of kissing your child that's not a baby, even a baby, but not a baby,
Turn your mic on.
on the lips and that kind of thing. What's your opinion on that?
Oh, um, yeah, that's one of those things I would have to say to each his own. Of course, in my household, yeah, it's not going down like that. But again, to each his own.
So the picture that we were talking about, where it was the young man and his daughter, where she was holding the back of his head. I'm trying to get the picture to pop back up now. Give me 1 second. And she was definitely.
Yeah, that's the other one when he was picking her
Yeah.
up. That
So
bothered me
this
too a
is
little bit.
so yeah.
But
So this is where she's holding the back of his head and everything, and a lot of us felt that was questionable. What did you think of this?
Yeah, I would have to say it is a tad bit questionable. And yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not
I
with
would feel weird if I'm picking
no,
my daughter
you're
up from
you're
school
Yeah,
okay
and this is
to
going
say
on.
your opinion. Trust me.
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't be.
I can't say that I'm necessarily with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, yeah, it's just not. It don't sit well with me.
Yeah, I'm about to
If
say
I'm
I'm
I know
picking
okay
my
with
for
daughter up
me
from
apology.
it was
school and I see
definitely
this going on, I would feel weird if I seen this going on in the yard and we dropping
Yeah,
the kids off in the morning. I would be like,
right.
what the
yeah.
like?
Most kids just reach in, get a mother or father, a kiss on the cheek or a peck or something, and be on their way. But that picture is going a tad bit beyond that.
Right.
I picked my
Oh.
niece up from kindergarten and kissed her on the cheek at 5, and her class went like, ew.
Yeah, true
So
that.
like you telling me at I guess she's 10, 11, like this is what we doing? Like,
And then I think about the y'all remember the Jess Hilarious picture with her son?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. Was
So when
when they
I
were
when I
dating,
see
not
this,
dating, they were
I
I
didn't see
thought
meeting.
I
that
didn't
she
see
she
that
got
one.
ripped a
No.
new one and then some.
She did, yeah.
And it's like,
Let me
and I
Google that
get
real
it
quick.
that this is just a flick of a moment in time that was capsized in the picture, and that we're judging it off of just seeing it and not really understanding it and stuff like that. But I just feel like when you put stuff on social media, any of us, you're opening yourself up to anybody to say anything. So as much as you may feel like this is a harmless photo, and it wasn't like a long kiss, because looking at this you're like, well, how long were they kissing? Like, I got questions. But it's it may be a still of a moment that was very quick and just done. She could have been going kiss her dad or whatever, photo shoot, I don't know, birthday shoot, whatever. But and we judge people off of a lot less. Like, And even though we found the just hilarious picture a little bit questionable as well, it's like it's the same thing. You put it out there, or someone puts it out there, people are going to judge you.
Right.
I
yeah,
think
that was
just
definitely
hilarious
problematic
picture.
for me.
Things
This
can
was
be
definitely
triggered.
problematic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think depending on your
Oh yeah,
background
this
and where
joint is
you come
definitely
from,
out of
things
pocket.
can be triggering.
Yeah, because my son loves some skin to skin contact at age 9, but he has skin to skin contact with my shoulder. It's not that. So, and if we and it like, and even it's just some things. I don't want to say do it in private, but like you put that out there, you're gonna get feedback, and that's a lot. Like, because if you're completely nude, covered up in most parts, it's questionable.
Right.
You gotta take the good with the bad. Like we know that, and everybody should know that as far as the internet is concerned. If I put a picture out right now and people find it problematic, period, just by myself, not alone, not even with kids, they can find it problematic and feel a way about it. Don't know the context behind it, but I think people need to hold themselves accountable that if you put something out there for the public to see and someone finds it a certain way and they share it, you're open to a public opinion. Even like with this podcast, we put ourselves and our opinions out there, and if somebody finds something that we say problematic, they're going without the full context. They can just snip it like how we do, crop a quick snippet of it, and then go left with it and go on down the whole train. They ain't got nothing to do with where you was going, but they can just say this is what you said and this is how they feel against it, and you said something wrong. You may not have meant that way. They took it out of context, but
So I mean, but that's the thing is that I don't think that everybody always has that intent, right?
Twitter is
Not
based
everybody
off.
always has, because I don't remember what the context of Jess Hilarious's pictures was, but I remember the Tom Brady situation was not like we're just out on display and we posted this picture. That was paparazzi, right? There was another situation where I remember it was somebody had posted to like their families, like I don't know if it was a Facebook group or if it was just a group text message, but somebody else took it upon themselves to post that and put it on public display, right? So not everybody's seeking attention or seeking to have public opinion posted about or given about their family situation, right? Because to Sierra's point, to everybody to each their own. And if I feel like it's okay in my household, but me unaware that somebody's taken and grabbed a family video or a family picture and pulled it out of a private chat or a private text message and then posted it for the world to see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Dane, what you think? Because you've been quiet.
Yeah, everybody's been talking. If you put that first picture back up,
With the guy and his daughter.
yeah, the hand.
The palming is what he's talking about, I believe.
I'm just like, I'm not feeling that palming situation.
For real, I'm telling you, Sonny, if I roll up in the schoolyard, I'm telling you, I got problems.
I could dig
that. With the first picture, that looks like that he was not ready for that. She probably just took his head and trying to get a kiss real quick, like a quick kiss. Because if you look at his hand position, his arms, it looks like he's being forced to be kissed by his daughter.
Okay, good point.
Some coaches do this. We might not like it in our culture, but other cultures, obviously, the other photos of the 5 individuals kissing their significant others, their kids, grandkids in the mouth.
Significant others.
It's okay. I mean, I was up until a certain age, I did get kissed in my mouth up until like 4 or 5, maybe. Then after a certain age, they cut that out. They thought it was inappropriate. But
yeah,
for us, I don't judge, but it does look questionable if you just take a quick glance without any context behind any of the situational pictures. Like him picking the daughter up, it's probably just a quick pose, real quick, just to kiss his daughter on the cheek and go about his day, isn't it? I don't think it was something malice. Because if it was something really malice, you want to get a photo of it.
The second picture, I don't have no problem with you picking her up. That's your daughter. I mean, whatever.
It's just his hand placement. His hand placement is
Even that, like once you get to be a certain size, I'm not
Yeah,
getting
because
you
you
up
got it.
unless I'm
Like,
going.
yeah, that part
Yeah,
you really can't have an issue with because you got to
yeah,
hold her
that
up.
part ain't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, where else am I hold you at? I can't pick you up by the arms like I
Yeah,
do the
she ain't
baby.
wrap her legs around
Right,
him like
right.
normal kids
no,
would do.
no, but he can pick her up a little bit lower by the legs to pick her up for more support than
Yeah,
the way he's picking her up at.
yeah. I mean, and that was my thing. Is like the picture, this picture without the what's the word? Without the first picture, without the kissing picture, I felt like it was like you said, it was just like it seemed like
A,
they're
a
just
playful
out there
joke.
having
Yeah,
fun, hanging out, somebody decided, oh, take a picture with your dad, and he picked her up. Stuff like that happens. No matter where his hands were placed, it was just one of those. It seems like that's what it seems to me like. It was like one of those things. And without that first picture, I definitely wouldn't question it, wouldn't think anything of it, wouldn't have any problem with it. It was just now with the context of the first picture, and I also felt like the fact that well, I won't say the fact because I think again we have to make assumptions because not everybody's posting their own pictures out there. I thought about that later because I think I mentioned this in the group. It's like it seemed like they were doing it for attention, but then later on I found out that the original picture was not from the father; it was somebody defending the father. But basically, the picture being posted, you know, we were making the assumption that they're seeking the attention anyway. Like, look at what we do, and do you got a problem with it because we don't? That kind of thing. And that was problematic to me. It was like, okay, one, you're seeking attention. Two, you're doing all this extra stuff, and so it kind of made me feel like it was, definitely for public opinion as well as trying to be sensational.
Hey, Jamie. Yeah, and it goes
I
back
got
to I
something.
remember
What up, though,
Smooth.
Jamie?
I remember Smooth saying something about and I cracked up because I didn't think anything of it. Right, we're saying about this picture, but it goes back to what Smooth said a couple maybe almost a year ago, not even. He talked about when somebody calls your child their boyfriend or their little girlfriend and they're a baby or a kid, and you being okay with that. Because I had somebody say, "Oh, that's my little boyfriend." I didn't think anything of it, but like even that can be seen as problematic because why are you calling my 2-year-old your little boyfriend? Yes, he is cute. He's super adorable. That's not your damn boyfriend. You're a grown ass person, and we don't
Why
look
do
at it
we go?
as,
Why do people say sexy is the one that kills me?
huh?
How is the 3-month-old sexy? Why do we have to do that one?
Wait a minute. Who's
Who's
calling
saying the baby is
three
sexy?
month olds or
Cause she said
3-year-olds or
like,
anything like that
but
sexy?
not how Sonny just said you got the Sonny has a son and her girlfriend calls and say where my boyfriend at? Same way like people will say like sexy little. I don't want to use nobody kids names. Ain't even gonna use mine. But people say that type of weird shit. And it's like
Hmm.
she's 3 months old. He's 3 months old. Why are we even using these terms?
Right.
Yeah, and that can be seen as problematic too. And I never thought of it until he said it, and I'm like, yeah, because then
Is that me?
I understand that I have an adorable child,
Who got?
but like, why are you saying that my boyfriend is who's crunching? Is that Damon?
That's what say. Yeah, who is that?
That is not me.
What are you doing?
Yeah, something's crunching.
Somebody eating chips. I don't know. I ain't got no chips. I have no
Oh,
chips.
Who got the Cheeto dust?
It must be something back. It must be some kind of background noise from
Oh yeah,
somebody.
Willie got the Cheeto dust. That's what that was. That's what that
That's
means.
okay. He
No,
ain't
no,
gonna tell us.
I think
But
it's
yeah,
just
like
background
I
noise.
didn't
Anyway,
think about that.
but yeah, no. To that point, yeah, you're right. To that point, the and that's been one of those things, culturally acceptable things, right? Or societal, norms. People I won't say sexualizing babies because I've never heard anybody call a baby sexy, but I mean, if you've heard it, I'm sure it's happened. And I feel like it's definitely something that shouldn't be done. It definitely needs to be stopped. Like don't call my baby or my toddler or my, under 18-year-old sexy. Like that's crazy.
Don't call my 18-year-old. My niece is 17. She'll be 18 next month. Don't call my niece sexy. She's just a kid.
Right. I don't want to hear that. I definitely don't want to hear that.
I got
The one
something I
thing
wanted to
that
ask about too.
bothers me is when people have little people and they say, "Oh, hey, little daddy, hey, daddy," and I'm like, let's not call the little baby daddy. Okay, he's just a little person. Like, we don't need to start that already. Like, let the
Yeah, that's
daddy be the
facts.
daddy and let the little baby be the baby. We don't need to give him the name of being a daddy already. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, no
I tell
doubt.
my daughter all the time, enjoy being a kid because adulthood sucks.
I want to be
Right.
a Toys R Us kid. I'm trying to tell y'all.
What man? If I could go back to the 10th birthday, run through the Toys R Us, get a couple of toys, shit. Um, Something Willie touched on when we first was talking about this in the group text though. When you got that older aunt, cousin, whoever
Okay.
who tries to give you the kiss. So I get pulled into an in-law situation. We go to the party. Oh, hey, how y'all doing? And the aunt comes in for a hug, and I go, oh, like, as I peep, she's coming, she's here, and I go, like, oh, she comes with me, like, so I'm like, yo, like,
Like you playing
she,
Matrix.
yeah, like we in this joint on this tip. So I told my wife, yo, your cousin just she's like, oh, she do that to everybody. All right, so look, so you mean from now on it's from across the room of her. Hey, how you good over there? Like,
Thankfully, I don't think I ever experienced that in my family. Like we were, I love you, but don't fucking touch me. Like the most you got was a hug. You did hug people, you kissed them on the cheek, but it was never like thankfully, we never had that person that wanted to try to kiss us as a kids and be like, come here, give your auntie a kiss. We never had to deal with that, or uncle a kiss and stuff like that. And even to the point of, I think Smooth said it, or maybe you hype about sitting the kids on the lap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're not
I
doing that either. Like
wasn't.
my daughter can't sit on Uncle So and So's lap, but we're not doing that.
Yeah, and that goes to the question of the main question of, are we over sexualizing love in terms of how people show their affection? If what they call it, if a father wants to kiss their kid, or if a mother wants to have the son on her lap, or if somebody, whatever the case may be, like, are we putting our own sexual insecurities on others?
No, I don't think we are. I think it's just that natural protection and parental instinct of certain things. Like we've all admitted that we had some family members that were questionable family members. So you're more mindful. And then on top of that, it goes back to the Sex with Sunny, when we covered about putting your kids in a situation or trying to avoid the situation because you've been through some shit. I'm not going to have you that familiar with someone that you're comfortable with sitting on a lap. And depending on that person's mindset, they may do it. It's not even the parent. It's just certain things that will trigger a parent, like, come here. You can't, I don't want you, it makes me uncomfortable because of something they did. Not even the child. It's not, I don't think we're over sexualizing the child. I think sometimes you read the situation as a parent. Like for me, my daughter was never sitting on anybody's lap. That wasn't her dad, or wasn't in her life that raised her. She's not like, she can, even my son, I've had times where I have male friends and he's cool with them. And if he's comfortable with you, my son does not, when he's in the house, he doesn't like to put on a lot of clothes. He can't, if y'all at my house, he can't come, and then I know that he wants to, he'll come. If he wants you to play with him, he'll try to sit in your lap. And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with you. But I feel like the same way with my daughter. I'm not gonna let my daughter go sit on somebody's lap that ain't her dad, and I'm not gonna let him sit on somebody's lap that ain't his dad, or some female. He can't just go sit on their lap, especially clothed or regular, how he be in the house. Like we're not doing that. Depending on the family member, you can't do that. Like if you ain't in my bubble, he not about to be that comfortable with you that he feel comfortable and he can sit in it. No.
Right. Yeah. Let's go to Hank. What's your
I
opinion on
think
that, Hank?
we all are a combination of the experiences that we had. Based on the experiences that you've had is what you go into your parenting style as, either the fear that you have or the things that you be confident in. So if you knew that you had a situation where this is when my cousin got touched, or this is when I got touched, or this is when the little girl got, you'll be leery of them situations. That's why when you said like sitting on the lap, it's like my daughter was the only house my daughter's ever spent the night at was my brother's. My brother house or her grandmom's. She's never even spent the night at my mom's house. That's just because she just never did. Not to say nothing going on at my mom's, but Like, people be into too much weird shit. If you got too many different boyfriends and niggas at your house, yo, my daughter cannot come over here. The one thing that you can't never call me and say is he ain't mean it, he be tripping. You can't call me with none of that. When my daughter was there and nothing happened, like, because it just is what it is at this point. So them type of experiences, it'd be like this, the kind of the double-edged sword of, you gotta give them some leeway to make their own mistakes and grow and to grow into their own person, and not just try to make them, like we talked about this before, just, you can't make them the second version of you, where you try to correct all the mistakes that you made in your life through them, but you also do parent based on the experiences that you had and the things that you'll let them get away with, because you know, if you touch the stove, it's hot. This kid don't know that. They ain't listening to that shit when you telling them that.
Right. Sierra, what's your opinion on that?
A lot of times you don't necessarily have had to go through the experience. It could be what your family has put on you as well. So
Copy.
you don't necessarily have had to been touched. But for an example, if your grandmother was touched growing up, then she's going to make sure that you don't sit on any man's lap, or you don't be in the man's face, and you all that stuff that comes along with people being touched, you know. So pretty much, of course, they place their fears upon you, and then of course when you have your children, you do the same thing, even though you haven't experienced it yourself.
Right, right. Dane?
Yeah, when I say the experiences, though, I do mean, like, for me, I always say all my friends was always older than me. So I could look at different situations and different scenarios that they had and say, it didn't work when he did this, so don't go do that. Not
Right,
that you always personally go through those things. You might have that one cousin who confided in you, yo, that Mr. Such and Such touched me when we was 6. So, like, not even that it always has to be a personal, I experienced this, but it's like, now that I know that's out there, I got to be on guard for it. My
Mhm.
bad, go ahead, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Dane.
This is a combination of life experience, what you see, what you experience, and also what you've been taught and raised with, because you have a lot of older family members
Good point.
who have different etiquettes when it comes to socializing outside the family and within inside the family. Different dynamics of seeing things from a different perspective because maybe they've been abused or they just see a lot of things because they're older. Your experiences of living in the world and seeing things on the news, how the trend keeps getting worse and worse of people just being sick. Like, I still wonder how come I couldn't experience some of the things with the teachers like these other
Sure.
kids do now. But
Mhm.
other that's beside the point. Um,
Shout out to Miss
but you
Willis.
I know, right?
but you do want to protect your kids at all costs. You just want to make sure they have the most carefree childhood without trauma, without the extra noise. You want them to just be innocent as long as they can, because once you get to that age of innocent loss, it's
Yeah.
down here from there.
No, I feel
Once
you.
that glass,
I'm
once
gonna come
that
back to
glass
that point.
breaks,
Let's get smooth in. Oh,
Oh no, no,
still there, smooth? Oh, there you go.
And I
Yeah.
said, no, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
No, 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 go ahead.
Nah, it depends on what y'all talking about. Like, if you talking about our own kids, well, then yeah, we all have rules and because your question was, do we put insecurities on other parents and stuff? If I
Yeah.
remember it correctly, right?
Yeah.
So yes, most people, the majority of everybody, are putting their insecurities on other people. You feel me? That's exactly what we're doing. When it comes to your own kids, yeah, you want to protect them. You're not going to allow them to do this, that, and the third. But that picture was a prime example. Everybody put their insecurities on that picture because it didn't look right to them. It didn't look right. It didn't hold up to their standard or their view or their outlook. So yeah, that's what we do. Throw our insecurities at people, and you know, whether right or wrong, it is what it is. It ain't going to change. Like we said earlier, when you put it out there, expect you know what I mean. You better expect people to comment and respond in kind. Like with the Just Hilarious, she put that out there, and then got mad when people didn't like that she put it out there. You feel me? Because most of the backlash to her was not that she did it, is that you put it out for the world to see. Like that's an intimate situation between you and your child. Keep that between you and your child if you're going to do that. Don't share it with the public. But as far as over-sexualizing, yeah, like this whole we had a whole show about over-sexualization. Yes, we're over-sexualized. So we over-sexualize everything. When we see something that doesn't look right to us, we automatically go to sex. I talked about it when we talked about gay people before. You know, growing up, the reason why most of us were, I hate the term homophobic because I really don't even respect that term, because just because you don't agree with something don't mean you fear it. But we were always taught, you know what I mean? We were always taught gay sex. Ill. We never was taught gay love. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because, you know what I mean? We always went straight to the sex part. Never thought about this is two human beings that are in love. Why are you thinking about their sex life? So, yes, we're all over-sexualized to the 10th degree. And at the end of the day, you know, it's really just getting worse. Like I was just on Twitter before I came on here, and they was telling, and you know, I was in a little debate about pornography. You know, sidebar real quick, but that's part of it. You feel me? You know, it's everywhere. You feel me? You had Twitter porn. You can't even scroll through stuff without just seeing porn. It is what it is. So yes, we are over-sexualized nation. We're paranoid, you know, for good reason, because there's a lot of nasty fucks out here, men and women. You know, because we never talk about, like I said, we never talk about protecting our boys against these predators, against women predators.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is what it is, bro.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And that was, you know, and that was my thing. My initial, my immediate response was on the malicious side because of the things I had been through, my own experiences, things I had seen people going through. You know, like you said, just being in that triggered state, automatically going, this is problematic, right? You know, and I had to recognize that because I talked to a couple of people, and one person is like, look, you know, my parent, you know, kissed me until I was a teenager, and I had no problem with it. It was never malicious. It was never a problem. You know, they did it out of love. You know, blah 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 blah. And then somebody else was explaining to me, you know, the situation with their child, and their child just not knowing any better. You know, or even Sonny's point. Sonny made the same point about, it's like, okay, you know, your kid, you know, wants to do things a certain way because they just want to do things a certain way. And it's something when you hear it and you know, rationalize, okay, you know what, you know, sometimes you're not in control. Or like to Dame's point, you know, if you really look at the picture, like, was that guy really in control of what happened at that moment? You know, you don't know the context, you don't know the full story, you're seeing a glimpse of time, right? And you don't, you all you going off of is your emotions, your fears, your realities, you know, whatever the case may be. I think sometimes we do have to take a step back and say, okay, you know, is it just me and my insecurities being put on others? Can I give them the benefit of the doubt? Can I give them the benefit of, hey, you show love a different way than I do? You know, because I'm hearing people say, you know, yeah, I kiss my kid, you know, blah blah blah, or like Sonny said, her son's father's kissing him on the cheek and that kind of. I don't kiss my son on the cheek. You know, it's just not how I show love. I hug him. You know, I've kissed his top of his head before. You know, but I'm not that kind of, you know, father where I'm, you know, and I don't expect to be an old man kissing my son in the mouth. Like, that's just not me. But I've seen it happen and didn't think nothing of it because of whatever. Oh, you know, whatever it was that I felt was okay about it at the time. And I think I mentioned, that's, I think what Sonny was bringing up, was like my older aunts in their 80s and their 90s, you know, they always lead with the lips. So, you know, you either take them or you don't, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's, it's always like, okay, do you judge or do you rationalize? And it's like, let's, 9 times out of 10, and to Dame's point, if somebody's probably displaying it there, it was okay in their situation more often than not. It was,
Yeah, they didn't think it was malicious or anything behind it. And that's
exactly.
why I said, for me, it wasn't for me, even though I totally agree with Clint. We put our insecurities into it and how we respond to it. For me, it was a would I do it? Would I see my, like, what? Because as I've known my son's dad since my son was 5. I've seen him with his kids and stuff like that. So for me, I never saw him do that, right? So for me, it was like, would I ever? And that was my first mindset of, first of all, me as a mom, would I do that? I don't kiss my child on the lips currently, or at even when he was a baby. So forward into, as he's a much older kid, would I do, like, if it was me, a mom and a son, would I do that? No. Not to say that that man has a problem, is an issue with that, but for me, I can't do that. And then I took it from the seeing the man that I know that's very was very active in his kids' lives when they were younger until earlier, until they got a little older, and I've never seen him do that. I've seen him cheek, forehead, hug, verbally tell the kid I love you, and that's it. Like, it wasn't that. So that was my instinct of, it's not something I would do, because it's that thing of it's the thing of just that's where my first instinct was. Would I do that? No. Okay. And
Then you
it
gotta
looks,
think
and
about what
to Heinz's point, it looked a little suspect to me, because was a little bothersome to me, was because as the same thing, that the hand behind the head was a little different. I've seen kids reach up to their dad and kiss them. I've seen my niece do it multiple times with her dad, and she'll kiss him. I believe she does kiss him on the lips, but she's 5. I would expect that because she's 5. Um, would she do it as older? For her, I think she probably would, because of the relationship she has with her dad. So I would probably see her do it at that girl's age, doing that. Would I see her put her hand behind his head? Probably not, because I know her mother. Her mother be like, just kiss your dad and go on about your business. We're not doing all this.
Right.
So that's, for me, like I said, and it very well may be us over sexualizing the situation and thinking too much into it and reading too much into it. But then I think of it as like this. When I grew up, did I see that?
Yeah.
Within
And I don't
my
like
household.
the word. I don't like the word insecurities. To be honest with you, because insecurity reflects. It's really about yourself. Uncertainty about yourself. I prefer the word fear,
Well,
because
yes, fear.
that involves uncertainty about what could happen as a result of a perceived threat. Now, I mean,
Yeah.
fear is the belief that something is dangerous, not the indisputable fact that it is dangerous. So I think a
Yeah.
lot of us, when we see situations like that, we always, it's a red flag. We get nervous, we get scared, but that's because of something that triggers inside of us, or that happened to us, or that we seen happen to other people or heard. So I think
Because
it's a lot of
I feel like,
the herd mentality too.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Good
then
point.
you gotta
That's
think
a,
about the
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
some of the people who are raised, like our aunts and uncles. You got to think about where they came from in their generation. They did things a little differently. They probably still try to kiss people on the mouth and cheeks, thinking it's cool. When our generation is a little different, more alert to what's going around, like far as diseases and people just being sick in the head. So, they think it's all cool because they think because we're kin, it's okay for auntie to kiss me in my mouth. No, it's not cool. Like, I'm not little Damon no more. I'm not the like the 2, 3 year old that you can still kiss in the mouth. No, I have a whole wife. I have kids. You can't just be going around kissing me.
Right. Right. Tan
Something
agreed. Tan also mentioned earlier that she missed the conversation, but she says for the picture, why post it? She felt like it was attention sinking. We did talk about that earlier. Tan, was that some of that is attention sinking. trying to put on display like, look what we do. This is what we find acceptable. Now take it or leave it, that kind of thing. And because I kind of felt a certain kind of way about that too. Was like, why put it out there if you don't want the
See, but I don't think
attention?
it was attention seeking, and that's the crazy for me. I can't get with the idea that it's attention seeking. I think that they did it with and didn't think of any malicious thing behind it. It was a father showing, which is something that a lot of us don't see, a father being there in their child's life, and they were celebrating that fact of their bond. So I don't. For me, it's and I get how you guys may think that, but for me, I don't place it as attention seeking. And I think they did it as a this is us showing that I love my daughter or whatever the case, or whoever posted it, like look at their bond and blah blah blah, and didn't think anything of it or any negative connotation or context behind it. So that's why they posted it. I don't feel that it was attention seeking, but
it's
Social
a double
media,
standard.
the whole thing with social media is attention seeking. You post
Yeah.
anything on social media to get the reaction from whoever, however many reactions you can get, whether it's just a picture of you and your son or daughter eating ice cream, or whether it's you on a vacation, somebody died, somebody's born, like all of it's about seeking the attention of somebody else to engage the
Let me ask you.
conversation.
And
Let me ask
shock
y'all something.
value, because everybody wants to be
What's the
shocked
difference?
and have
Hold
that
up.
first.
I got one more thing though, is like I always say this on the podcast, is them self-evaluations are the hardest evaluations to make. This goes to what Willie was saying about you putting your own, like Smooth said, he don't want to use the insecurities, your own fears. It takes a very strong individual to recognize that, like, whatever is going on with any relationship, this is a problem. But is this a problem, or is this just me putting my own fear, my own insecurities into it? Or is it really that deep? Or is it really going there? Or is this just me making it something that it ain't? That takes a strong individual and a very perceptive person to be able to pick up on that, because that's not just something that everybody got in them to be able to make that evaluation in a snap of a finger.
But Hype, what podcast is that?
That is the How to Hustle podcast with Hype,
you know
available on all
what?
streaming platforms every Monday. Also on the GFT Radio Network every Tuesday at 2 p.m.
Okay,
Sierra, I know
I have
you're
to make
new.
sure.
I see that you're new, Sierra. So what we're going to need out of you is 5 stars, okay?
You know
You're
what?
going to go and you're going to find the How to Hustle podcast with Hype. That's at I am Hype. It's HYMPE. It's Hype. It's not Hype. I'm not geeked up.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. You were saying, Smooth.
I don't forgot.
So since I'm gonna go back to Tan's comment. She said she actually went to the guy's page, so I guess he did post it, and he said he was clapping back at everyone, and I guess that was making off comments about the picture and about the situation. So yeah, so it looks like it was definitely attention seeking.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sierra.
Realize too that
Whoa. What was...
little people pay attention to the things that we do, and like the father and the mother could have been showing that type of affection to each other in the household, and so the little girl may have just decided that her next picture with her daddy, she was gonna, do the same exact thing that her mom does with her dad. So even though it may not be, the dad all the time with seeking the attention, sometimes what we do in front of little people, they decide to, do it as well. And not just us all the time. It could be what they see
Your
on
cousin?
TikTok, what they see on the internet. They might want to decide to try it as well.
And that's why you can't be. This is why we had the conversation before too, where if you can remember some shit from when you was 5 and your ass is 34, like why you think the 5-year-old can't remember something from when they was 4? That's why you can't be doing certain shit in front of them, because if you're doing it, you're normalizing it to them, saying this is what a man does to a woman. This is the way that you're getting treated, talked to, all of that. If you doing this is exactly what they're gonna do. So, like you saying, that could have been a situation. This is how mommy and daddy always kiss. Like, this is why I don't be all kissing my wife like that all in front of the kids.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the arguments too that are out there is like when people are kissing their kids and showing their affection in certain ways that others deem inappropriate, others deem you know eyebrow raising is that you may be confusing the child, or you may be allowing the child to do things with you that you may not realize they may mimic with somebody else that you don't want them doing those things with, like another kid or another adult. So, there's that argument that you have to basically, limit or direct and guide that kid into what's most appropriate in terms of how to show that
Yeah, I
affection.
think it's that you can't. It's not that you can't kiss your spouse in front of your kids because you want to show your kids that you love your spouse, you give a fuck about them, you care about them, and this is how you show affection. I love you, so I'm gonna kiss you, right? It's just the overboardness that we need to be mindful of. Like you can't be damn near pulling up your spouse's clothes in front of your kids, and then that's cool, because then that may be problematic. Because like you said, they can mimic that and think that it's natural. Even though they see it in their house, they need to know what's appropriate for them and what's not appropriate for them. So while I'm a big person of that. Like if I have company at my house or I'm dating someone, my kid is going to see very general PDA. Not if we're not showing them too much. You can see this person kiss me and hug me and stuff like that, but we're not damn near slopping down each other, sucking each other's faces off in front of you. Yeah, I may really love this person, but I just feel like that to me is a bit much. Or like you wait till they get older, because then they can tell you, oh my God, mom, that's gross. And they can understand that they can't go out and do this to little Tika on the corner because then it's all daddy tonguing down mommy in the kitchen and damn near ripping her up in every which way. So yeah, it's different if you see it, I think, as a teenager, because you can understand and comprehend that that's not something you should be doing. But this is how mommy and dad, like not all the time, but you know how you see your mom hugging your dad or kissing your dad, like, get in the room, get out of here. We see that as teenagers and stuff, and like 13 or 14. But as a kid, I think it may be something that we can tone down when we're in front of kids. So I'm not having somebody damn near about to try to rip my clothes off because they're so excited to see me, and Zay sitting right there and they're like, oh,
Right.
and
Right.
so I think we have to limit things. And then I know growing up, my mom tried to limit certain shows we watch, but now these shows are just doing whatever at any given time, and you don't know when it's about to happen. And you're like, oh God! I remember my mom tells us to leave the room, and now they could be watching YouTube on themselves. Like I made a post the other day, and I didn't know Sausage Party was not a kid friendly movie, and I found out very quickly that it was not a kid friendly movie until I heard my son listen. I'm like, what the hell are they saying? And then he started, like, he's nonverbal, but he can repeat anything. He over there saying, I ain't got no goddamn legs. And then the way they were talking and the context of what they were talking is inappropriate for him.
Mhm.
But he been watching it,
I
and it's
don't
like,
think I want to Google that just based off the title alone.
I didn't know.
I was like, how you
Like
don't
I've
know?
never seen the movie. Like I legit never seen the movie.
But this was the point I made to Sonny earlier or previously about that. And we actually had a show about that movie, in terms of people will allow their kids to watch something based on their perception of what they think it is. Like, oh, it's a cartoon, it must be okay, that kind of thing, versus actually taking the time out to actually monitor what your kids are watching, or actually monitor or pre-monitor what they're going to be watching. And, that's the thing, is that that's something that either our parents tried to tell us to do or tried to do. I mean, to Tan's point earlier, she said she played house all the time, but was also told, do as I say, not as I do. And I think that a lot of times, as parents and young parents, and unfortunately lazy parents, we are so quick to allow the internet, social media, YouTube to babysit our kids without any parental guidance, without any parental supervision, and without taking the steps necessary. Because, to your point, Sonny, a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies will go from 0 to 60 real quick. So you knowing that, we have to be more conscious.
Yeah, I don't watch certain stuff
cognizant of what they're watching, even if it's Disney. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I thought it was Disney, so I just assumed it was okay." But then they're the same people who are mad because there's same-sex parents on a Disney show. It's like, well, if you would have just watched what your kid was watching before they watched it, or watched it with them, so that you can interject your own personal beliefs, then everything would have been okay.
Yeah, because I definitely never seen that movie before, and I was used to him. He usually watch, like when he's on his iPad, he's right up under me. So I'm hearing, you know, A, B, C, D, and there are 8 planets in the solar system. So I'm jamming to that stuff. I don't know the songs and everything. And then one day he found Sausage Party, and I was like, I didn't pay attention to it at first. Like, it was just background noise. I was probably doing something and didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
And one day on a Saturday, I was just sitting there, and I'm hearing the conversation, and I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, you know, I didn't just hear that. And then I'm hearing this thing cuss, and I'm like, what are you watching? And he's like getting mad because I'm taking his iPad. And then I'm like, then he's verbalizing what they're saying. Like he can't really say certain words, but he was like, you don't want to fucking know. And I'm like, wait, what? Because he just looked at me and said, you don't want to fucking know. I'm like, what? And then I'm watching this video clip that he keeps playing because he keeps rewinding it back to the same part and then saying it over and over again. And that's how I'm like, no, hell no. And I'm trying to block it. I'm took off YouTube off his thing because I didn't know that. And like I was so used to him. I didn't think, and that's what you said to your point, being lazy. I was so used. I don't want to say lazy because I'm not, like, I'm on him. He's right. You're near me, so I can use to hear everything. I think at this point I was engulfed in whatever I was doing, and I was so comfortable with just hearing like educational stuff from him and like different songs in different languages, like little kitty nursery rhyme stuff. So I didn't think anything of it when he's on his iPad because that's what I'm used to hearing. I hear it in the background all the time.
No, we totally got you. Totally got you. But so
just because
I want to go ahead and move on. It's already 11 o'clock. Dame, you had an after show topic. I want to jump on that real quick, and then we can wrap things up. All right, Dame, give us the question of the night.
Oh, shoot.
How he knows you about to call him and he's still delayed? This is why
I know, right?
I'm thinking he about to pull it up for us, so I thought he was about to pull up. I did a poll a couple of days ago on would you intervene in a domestic what was it?
Dispute.
Domestic fights between a couple.
Random couple or
people we know.
Well, I guess it depends on, you know, how you feel about it, because one person did bring that up as a side topic, like, hey, you know, what you know, do we know the person? Am I familiar with them or not? You know, that kind of thing, because people will jump into randoms, right? And then some people won't, you know, and some people will jump into situations that they know and some won't, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, I guess that's the question is what's your limitation when it comes to intervening in a domestic fight?
Well, I've jumped into quite a few domestic situations with family and or friends. I'm a big person of everybody need to keep their hands to themselves. So it's not just me protecting a man from hitting a woman, but it's also been me telling a woman not to put her hands on a man, because you can't be slapping this man in the face or you know, doing like going above and beyond, and he's not hitting you, and then when he finally hits you back, you're screaming bloody murder. Keep your hands to yourself, and you just won't have to deal with that. Same with a man. I can't actively sit in a situation and watch a man punch on or hit a female, and I'm just gonna sit there act like it's cool. It's not. I'm not going to sit there. I did, however, one time in my younger years, and I've learned a lesson, a very hard lesson, to not involve yourself with people you don't know. I was out. I saw a situation going down. Like multiple people that were there, we were trying to stop the situation. This man punched 2 women out in the middle of the Philly streets like it was nothing. And when the guy tried to help, and I'm over there like, wait a minute. And when the guy tried to intervene and to save them, he got knocked out. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and mind my business, because at the end of the day, the cops were called. These females were trying to protect the person that just punched them out. Meanwhile, their homeboy that came with them is still on the ground unconscious. My best friend was like, mind your business. I was like, no, he trying to, knock these women out. I'm all in his face, and I'm like, he could have punched me too. I'm light skinned, I bruise easy. I don't got time for that. So once he punched dude out, I was like, he don't give a fuck about nobody. He done punched everybody, and the cops were coming out there, and he didn't give a damn. So I can't involve myself. And then to see them protecting him as their friend lay on the ground, I was like, I'm glad I didn't really get too far in it. And he like just dismissed me because he didn't know me. So,
Yeah. Go ahead, I.
We had a situation here the other day on the news where a couple arguing on the expressway. The dude got the baby hanging over the fucking railing, and random lady that's riding past gets out the car and just like, give me the baby, give me the baby, and the baby mom got the gun off the dude. This is why I said, if we talking to somebody we know, what's the situation? Because if we got a situation like that, that's a little different because it's a baby. If it's just dude and his girl, sad to say, if we, it's hard to walk away out of that situation, but you end up putting you end up now fucking your whole situation up about some people you don't even know. Like Sonny said, this dude gets knocked the fuck out. He might have concussion and fucked his whole brain up for the rest of his life. You
Yeah.
might,
True.
so now you done fucked up your whole kid's future for some shit that you ain't even had nothing to do with, some shit that didn't involve you. Now, if everybody's been in a situation where they seen domestic situation and it's like it's your cousin, your homie, or somebody, and you pulled somebody off of somebody. That's different. But I also seen my man is choking his fucking wife. My other man goes to break it up, and the girl is getting choked and says, "Mind your fucking business." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so you can't always jump in them situations because some people it's like that's how they love each other. They fucking fight, break lamps, and they go through all kinds of crazy dumb shit. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a case by case basis because it's like I said, at the end of the day, you'll end up fucking your whole life up about some shit you ain't even got nothing to do with and some shit that you put yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah, I
Right.
could have on the concrete laid out with a
Yeah.
concussion. I ain't got time for that. Not in Philly.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah,
Go
like if
ahead,
I
Pierre.
know, that's what I'm saying. Like if I know, like if I see, all right, Sonny and her dude is arguing, and I know Sonny, all right, this is different versus random, like
Right.
person is arguing in the same Chili's with they like.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's go to Sierra.
I'm telling my business here.
Yeah. So I go by the saying my mom used to say to me when I was younger. I ain't put y'all together, and I ain't gonna break y'all up. So if y'all doing all that extra stuff, then do it on your own time. If you in my house doing that, I need y'all to wrap that up and get on up out of here with that. As far as me, probably like intervening and breaking it up. I'm going to probably say it could possibly just depend. It every situation, something has to depend on something and who the person is and all that nice stuff that comes along with it.
Bullseye 10, always right back together.
And yeah, I was about to say that as well. Because pretty
You getting
much,
involved and they hugged up the
yeah.
next day.
And then in the morning, they back loving each other. So again, that could just be how they love each other, and fighting is how they love each other.
You in jail and she icing that nigga's eye.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Or you
Exactly.
more mad than she over here. I love him.
Right. Right. Go ahead, Dane.
So I always told my cousins, don't call me.
That's how my
All right,
brother was. Don't call me. If we going to ICU or we going in the box? Which one? Don't call me because this is the options that you have. He gonna
I
be in
got this.
ICU for a couple of months.
Yeah. Let's go to Dane right quick. Go to Dane.
All right, I got the story from a video I saw for a gentleman explaining why he doesn't break up domestic fights from between a couple. He explained that he himself had saw a woman getting punched out, getting stumped out by her man. He tried to intervene, tried to get the man off her, and they had tussled. The next thing you know, he's getting stabbed in the back by the woman, telling him to mind his own effing business. So, and the cops were called, and fortunately, the cops believed him, his story, because he could have been going to jail for some BS that he had no business in. So, he said that his exact words were that he would not intervene, sadly, in any more domestic disputes unless the woman is actually physically calling for help.
Mhm.
Because some women, they want to get beat for some reason. They like that attention, or that's how they fight. That's how they love each other. Unfortunately, that's not love, but that's just how they deal with each other.
Yeah, and I'm definitely kind of in the same situation where it's like if the person is saying I need help or I want help or I don't want this, then yeah, I think I would take, the action. Definitely still have to assess the situation because to Haim's point, sometimes you don't know what you're about to walk into. I am not the one that needs to be getting punched or punched at because then we're gonna have
or
a problem.
shot and
But
killed.
but exactly, there was a situation recently here in the
So our
city.
niggas is playing in
It,
Philly. They
it,
shooting.
right in the city of Detroit, where a guy was trying to help a woman that was getting beaten in her either in her car or the guy's car. They were in a car, and he walked up on them to try to break it up or to try to see what was going on. And the guy that was beating the woman turned around and shot him to death. For just trying to come try to see what was wrong with if he could help, whatever the case may be. And it's like those situations you definitely don't want to be in that situation where your life gets ended because somebody wants to be stupid, today and be beating on people and all that kind of stuff, and you're just trying to stop it. And I think too, the situations where people are, I would definitely, I won't say that, somebody wants to be beat or that that's the way they want to be loved, but sometimes people find themselves in these situations and they don't understand or in their mind they don't think they have a way out, right? And I feel like they take it to that step of it's the norm for now and they'll deal with it for now. And unfortunately, what that means is no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter how you approach them, they're not leaving that situation until they're ready to leave that situation. And I'm definitely not going to be the one to try to convince you that you should leave the situation when you're not even convinced you should leave the situation.
And
Because other than
sometimes
that,
they
I'm
they,
just
they,
I'm
they
just
feel like it's
blowing hot
worse.
air and you're not even listening. Say it again, Sonny.
I said sometimes they feel like it's worse, like because I've known people who've been in domestic situations. Not that they don't want to leave, is that this situation happened, whatever the reason, called this man to beat you out in public, right? Somebody comes to your rescue. That could be more of an issue because when you go home, it's you drew attention, and now I'm going to
Exactly.
beat you worse than what I did out on the streets. So
Yeah,
it's not
and that's to
necessarily
the
that they
point
don't
of
want your
the
help. It's
yeah.
more so that they understand that if I'm out here getting not hype, not that you're gonna beat my ass, but like a real relationship, and you were a person that beat me, and Willie came to save me, you may have in your mindset, oh, you did this, and your mentality may be, I'm gonna beat you worse when we get home,
Yeah, that's
and
a
they
good
don't
point.
want to deal with that.
And
That's a good
usually all that goes back to the shit that we was talking about. What did you get normalized to as a child? What is the shit that you got shown? Because that's a person who doesn't know what love looks like. They think that you loving me is you whipping my ass. They think
Yeah.
me showing her the is me whipping her ass. That's all of that same shit that we just was talking about. One of them things that I think Smooth said this that my mom and my dad never told us, me and my brother this ever, was do as I say, not as I do. Because you shouldn't be doing some shit in front of this child, which is a topic that I did before too.
point.
Like,
Tan said
should
that
your
earlier.
kids know? Should your kids know the real you? You should never be doing some shit in front of your kids that's not like something that you would want them to do, or something that you can easily explain, or something that's leading to some negative or stupid shit.
Right, right. Yeah,
And
Tan
And
that
that was
also mentioned that
actually the topic of
about them
yesterday's How to
being
Hustle
right
Live
back
show.
together, and the fact that the woman might even be visiting the guy in jail because
Ain't
that's what
no probably
happens a lot
visiting.
of
She got
times.
$800 on that nigga books too, and paying the
But
lawyer.
then it's that Stockholm syndrome too. It's that
Yeah,
too.
I was
Like
gonna
I,
mention
I
that.
feel
Yeah,
like I get it to be upset and feel like like it's the mindset of we understand. Like you've been through some stuff with this person and this person has beat you, and everybody else can see outside looking in. Easier said than done for you to feel like she should leave this person. But if you've been in the situation, like you said, if you grew up in this, if you watch your mom get their ass beat on a deli and still stay. Grandma do the same thing. It's embedded into you to accept that's what love is.
This is just
So
what love
even
look
though
like. Yeah.
everybody else is saying it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong, this is what you know to be love. So even though you may feel like it's a toxic situation, and at the same time he got locked up for a period of time and you still there because you like it's that Stockholm syndrome. It's like this is what I know. So I'm gonna still be here for him. And this is what I'm agreeing to. And it's a thing like what he said, is that they have to get into their minds that it's not healthy, it's not safe. And a lot of them they get out of it because of their kids. Because it's like now my kids may be in harm's way. Some of them, even if they have kids, it's still harder because they feel like the person gonna take their kids away from them because that person is a sole provider and they've been unable to work, so they can't support the kids and they have to go through the process. So yeah, it's easier to say this, oh, she's going to be right back with him, or she's going to go visit him in jail. And I don't want anybody that's going through this situation to think that we think negatively of you. We're speaking reality, but at the same time, we also understand that some people are sensitive and some people go through things, and that when they feel like they're done and they really need help, they're going to get out. And hopefully it's sooner rather than death. Period.
And the easiest thing that anybody else could tell you is to leave your relationship because they haven't invested any time, any energy, any years into it. The easiest shit in the world is for me to say, "Oh, Sierra, oh, Sonny, you should leave that nigga because of this, that, and whatever." But you didn't invested 12 years and 2 kids into this nigga. You didn't invested 25 years into this nigga. So
and sometimes it's not even that, because you could be gaslit for a whole year and be trained to think that this is the best shit ever.
Exactly.
And you over here a year or two getting your ass beat, and then it don't got to be years. If somebody is a narcissist or a professional gaslighter, an abusive person, they know how they know what women to seek out and how to get them under their thumb.
Right.
The mental manipulation is the worst shit ever.
And that's the hardest thing to get out of, because it's one thing to physically abuse me. It's a whole other thing to have, and that's why it's the gaslight and the narcissism. If you're apologizing for shit you ain't do, but you're like, how you start off, baby, this bothers me, and now all of a sudden you the fucked up individual, and like did I do something wrong? You apologize for shit you ain't do. That constantly for a year will mentally fuck you.
Right. Tan says they will get out, hopefully, but it's hard to see someone else hurt because of it.
It is, and it's hard for family members to watch their loved ones go through stuff like that, because you want to say get out. It's easy for us to say that, but like to Heinz's point, for them it might not be easy. It's easy for you because you're outside looking in. Imagine if you were in it. Do you think it would be easy? Some people it is like you got one and done. I'm out. You're not gonna give you the opportunity to do that. Versus some people, it's 3 times and then all right, I'm out. Like I said, hopefully you get it before death, because it's the honeymoon phase is the sign of death coming. Next time he put his hands on you, you may not make it out. Or reverse for females beating on men, a honeymoon phase too. And next you know you over here dead because she's been abusing you for years. And when men is worse, because they're not gonna come forward and say a woman is beating my ass. Why? Because it's seen, it's perceived as like to Smooth's point, women aren't looked at as predators, but it's a lot of men that are in abusive situations and just as toxic as the females, and are scared to leave because they can't say to their boy, "Hey, Hein, my girl beat my ass." You like, what? Nigga, you 300 pounds, 6'2", what you mean she beating your ass? And she probably 5'3" and 3/4 like me, and like you just little thing over here beating this 6'2" nigga ass, and you just like, oh, well, you can just leave her because what you just stand in against. But like that's the thing, we don't look at women as predators, so it's a lot of men that's in situations they don't need to be in, and it's harder for them to leave, and they can't go and talk to anybody or a lot of people, even the police, because who gonna be like, what? You're a grown man.
Yeah, I mean we've seen that too. Yeah, where even the police will give a man crap about what's happening.
How hard is a man to prove that he being abused?
Right. Yeah, it's very hard.
All the woman gotta say is he hit me. Cops is like, what?
Yeah.
You can see that man scratched up.
That's my problem with the
Johnny
whole like.
He
that was my problem with the whole Me Too situation was they didn't even have to have evidence. The chick can just come up and say, back in 1993, Hank grabbed my butt with no evidence of anything. You just saying it, and now people whole lives, whole careers is ruined.
Terry Crews came out and look what happened to him. Why? Because he a big black dude, and nobody believed that he had went through what he went through, and they ripped that man a new one, and they was victim blaming. Because why? He's a big black man. What do you mean you were assaulted? What do you mean someone approached you? What do you mean and it's sad. That's why as much as we promote the female being abused, we need to promote the men being abused. It's like I said, we talked about the rape situation, about men being raped and our boys being raped, and that's why we got the shirt that say "Protect our boys, I protect our girls," because we forget. That's why I said for my son, it's the same thing. He ain't sitting on nobody's lap. Ain't nobody about to be kissing my son in the mouth. It's my fear or not, I'm protecting him just like I would protect my daughter. It's the same way, because I don't want him to feel like he's not protected, and I just think that he a boy and nothing gonna happen to him, and then shit happened to him, and now we got to figure shit out and work through a lot of stuff he got to go through. Same way I don't want my daughter to go through it, I wouldn't want him to go through it.
Right.
But it's more believable for a boy, right? Sometimes. if a boy said he got molested versus a grown man, and it can happen. I'm sorry, I just went on the rant.
No problem. No problem. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's comments and everything. Anybody else want to say something before we get off of here?
Protect our boys like we protect our girls.
One thing is not just the videos on YouTube that we watch, it's also the commercials that click in too. You gotta be careful of. Sometimes you might be, oh, this is the right show. ABC's 1, 2, 3s, and some commercial comes in that's really weird. Sometimes they got the 15-second commercials, sometimes they got the 5-minute commercials.
True that.
The difference in that situation too that you were saying about the lazy parent and Willie, when we was coming up, when the parents put in the tape, they already knew what was on that tape. Now, if you just let them watch YouTube for hours, you don't know, like Dame said, you don't know what's popping up in them ads. Remember, they had the thing a couple of years ago where they was telling the kids to go get a fork and stab yourself until the red stuff comes out your arm. Go put the fork in the toaster and all of that type shit.
Right.
They had that coming up like in the kids' videos. But when we was kids, it was a tape. This shit gonna be an hour and a half, and then it's gonna stop, and you gonna have to go, Mom, it cut off.
right.
Totally different situation.
And the most we got exposed
Well,
to was
like
Bambi
I
mom
said,
got
but
killed.
it's all about adapting to what you have, right? You know that the internet is not a safe place for kids. Don't let the internet babysit your kid if you're concerned that your kid is going to run into inappropriate content. So
yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a great show. Appreciate everybody for joining in. Thank you, Sierra, for joining us as well. Hopefully,
Yes,
get
thank
you
you,
back
Sierra.
on again soon.
Yes.
In the meantime, you guys know that you got plenty of content here with GFT Radio Show. Mondays at 10 p.m., we have the GFT Radio Show. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m., we have the How to Hustle podcast with Hype. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m., we have the Styles and Chevy recap. 2 Fridays out the month, we have the Sex with Sunny live show. Make sure you guys check out the recent show that she just dropped on the replays. Make sure you go check that out.
So
Fans Perspective every other Sunday at 9 p.m. Make sure you go check out the replay from last night. They just dropped the show last night. And introducing once a month, we have Styles and Dame Presents, One Crazy Month. We have highlights. We have crazy stories, all kinds of headlines and all that, and we'll be commenting and talking about it. So make sure you join us at 9 p.m. We'll actually be back on the 21st, I believe, 21st of August. So make sure you come back and check us out at 9 p.m. on 21st of August. And until then, where can they find you, Sunny?
Oh, I'm writing down stuff. I am Sunny _D, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can catch my blog on reservedlyme.com.
I need some more TikTok.
I did some.
I need more.
Oh, Jesus, you don't. Yes, it's too much.
Shouts out to everybody that showed up last night for the How to Hustle Live Show Part 2. We will definitely be doing How to Hustle Live Show 3. That will be coming soon, sometime early next year. Episode, what is this one? 74 came out today. It will be premiering on the GFT Radio Network tomorrow at 2 p.m. You follow me on Instagram and Twitter at I am Hype. That's HYMPE. It's Hype. It's not hype. I'm not geeked up.
It's me. You can find me at Another Love on Instagram, Shinlo21 on Twitch, Checkmate21 on TikTok, and it's just Shinlo21 on Xbox now. Sorry, Will.
Sorry, Will. My bad. Sierra, did you want to tell the folks where they can find you if you want to promote anything?
Right there.
You can find me at unapologetic_C, and that's on Instagram.
All right, appreciate that, and make sure you guys also check out Smooth. He had to cut out on us, but he's over at Trenton Groomy on Twitter. Visit him over at akingstruth.com for his blog as well, and catch him on Snap at A King's Truth. And this your boy Willie Styles in the building. Get at me everywhere at Willie Styles on IG and Twitter, on Willie.Styles on Snapchat and TikTok. You can find me over at gamingwithstyles.com for video games that I'll be playing every now and then. I just played One Finger Death Punch about a month ago, so make sure you go check out the replay on that. Visit me over at stylesradio.com for all the hot tracks that I'm listening to, or catch me at williestyles.info for all my links. Appreciate you, Tam, for dropping in. Appreciate Jamie for dropping in earlier as well. Thank you all for joining us. I'm going to do a quick shameless plug. Make sure you guys go check out Tan's website over at thickgrow.com. That's THYCK grow.com. for natural hair growing products. So make sure you go check
I'm
that
going to
out.
hit that up because I done chopped all my hair off and now I got my braids. When I come back out, I'm going back to natural. Well, this is
Right, no doubt.
style.
And then I think Hype already gave out his information for his businesses as well. And
H2H Cleaning, at H2H Cleaning on Instagram only, and it is at Custom Hustle World on Instagram, Custom Hustle Co. on Twitter.
For sure. All right. Until next time, we'll catch y'all later. Appreciate y'all for joining.
Yo, it's your boy Dame here.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D.
Yo, it's your boy Smooth from the GFT Radio Network.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building.
Join us Mondays at 10 p.m. live on Twitch, YouTube, and our Facebook. And if you miss us, don't worry. You can catch it on our website, gftradioshow.com. And if you feel like talking to us every day, join our Facebook group.
At Join the Conversation, the group where you can discuss all kinds of topics.
Catch me also, Fans Perspective, Dope Sports Show. Holla at your boy.
You can cop some merchandise over at our store, teespring.com/stores/GFT Radio. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, masks, and even more.
Next time on GFT Radio, what are we talking about? Join the conversation to find out.
Make sure you get at us on GFT Radio